Hi everyone, I'm Anishka,
Hi, I'm Nida.
and this is Girl Up GMA. Welcome back to our Modern Girls podcast, and today we have some very special guests with us.
Today we have with us two of our very close friends and batchmates, Diya Bansal and Diya Zavery. Diya Bansal and Diya Zavery are the co-founders of Unravelling Thoughts, our school's platform wherein students can anonymously share their feelings and concerns with trained students and teachers who volunteer as counselors. Welcome, Diya and Diya. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Hi.
Hi guys. I think we'll jump right into it. So tell us, guys, how did the idea of Unraveling Thoughts first come to you?
Okay, so unraveling thoughts. Uh, I basically wanted I wanted a website where we could converse about whatever we're feeling because okay, fine. When I was in ninth grade, I was going through all these transitions. Actually, seventh grade, you're going through all these changes and, your body's transforming. And I'd recently moved to a new place and I didn't really have anybody to talk to. And I was sort of I didn't feel accepted there. So, and there were like a lot of things that were happening and a lot of changes. And I feel like whatever happened then sort of contributed to the issues I later developed, like social anxiety or whatever. I don't want to get into that, but I felt like if I had somebody to talk to, I could have avoided that, and that's why I wanted something, somewhere to just talk to people about, and that's how I came up with the idea. And yeah, what about you?
So I think earlier this year, actually, this kind of had come into my mind back in Feb, but obviously because of exams, there wasn't much that I didn't put too much thought into it. And then after the pandemic, I think it just became a necessity. And March wasn't really a good month for me. I think there's lot of changes that happen in terms of school, in terms of the world, and in terms of a lot of my personal relationships with my friends. So even I felt like I would really benefit from having such a platform. And then I wondered, okay, this is not just my story, right? There must be so many other people in our grade, in our school, who might feel the same need. So that's when I kind of started working on the idea. And I think Diya Zavery and I were both in touch with Shrikala ma'am. And that's how we realized that, we can kind of take this forward together.
I think that was a really nice origin story. I love the way that you guys had two separate, issues that you were battling, or like two separate origins, and then you guys came together. Because I think a lot of us were a little bit initially surprised at the pairing. Like, this wasn't something that we saw coming. But I think when you guys started it, we were like, these are like the two perfect people to spearhead a mental health campaign in our school. So I think that was really nice.
So I think, Dia, you did slightly touch upon this in the first answer, but any specific incident or happening in your life that pushed you and made you realize how important mental health is for people all over the world?
As I spoke about, so I'd moved to Tokyo, and I didn't really know anybody there, and I was an Indian. I was a minority, I'd say, and so a lot of the people over there weren't really used to. Okay, I was bullied for having body hair and like not being skinny enough, or like just like issues you go through when you're hitting puberty. You have body hair and you're gaining weight, and it wasn't really it was abnormal there, I'd say. And that's why I didn't know what mental health was. I wasn't aware of mental health really was, and I thought this was normal, and maybe people do feel like this. I didn't consider it to be like an abnormal sort of a feeling. And I just feel like a lot of people don't really aren't really educated on what mental health is, especially the younger ones. And it's important to sort of explain to them what mental health is, and build foundations at their primary ages, I think. And yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense because deep down inside, I think all of us have felt, especially at that, tender age, that we need to talk to someone and we need to share our feelings with someone. And, a lack of such a medium can lead to adverse effects, later on in life as well.
Okay, so guys, there's recently been a surge in the movement surrounding mental health and normalizing the discussion of it. So, what is your take on this, and why do you think it's important?
Yeah. So I think that I feel like particularly in our school for a few years, the trend's been that there's so much talk, right, about mental health, about the importance and a lot of facets of it as well. You know, the types of conditions that people have, and while that's been great, I think that with the pandemic, there was a need for something more, a little more action based. Some kind of initiative, and that's what we were aiming for, right? Because there's so many blogs, there's so many resources, so many assemblies that we have in school, right, that talk about it. But what happens if someone needs help, right? Where do they go? And I think particularly Dia and I, we felt that sometimes it's not always easy to reach out to someone, right? um, Even a school counselor, and it's just easier to kind of do it anonymously or over text. So that's what we were aiming for. And I think that it's really important because um, I think that this year, especially, right, there's, like you said, there's been a surge in the mental health movement. And I think what it's done is that it's twofold. One is that it's kind of reshaped society's idea of mental health. And I think it's kind of made society understand that, that yes, these are issues that need to be dealt with. And it's kind of removed the stigma around it. And secondly, I think it's done that to individuals as well, so that they're not scared to reach out, whether that's in school through our initiative or even around the world, whether it's someone trying to reach out to a therapist or a psychologist or anything like that.
Absolutely. And as you rightly said, there definitely is a stigma surrounding mental health. It's almost like a taboo, particularly if you're looking at like South Asian societies and those sorts of cultures, particularly if you're referring to like Asian backgrounds. I still think that mental health is something or somewhat like looked down upon if you try to bring it up and if you try to say that I'm suffering from this mental health illness, or if, I have a condition. So I think it's great that you guys have sort of contributed to the movement. And as you said, there has been a surge this year, especially about talking about these issues and normalizing it. But you're right, there was always that question that, okay, we're normalizing the conversation, but what's next? What if someone needs that help? Then where do you go? Because I love the fact that we have this online movement recently, which is all about, normalizing it and making people aware of it and making them feel comfortable. But there always has to be, I think, some tangible action behind everything that we do. So I think it's really great that you guys are giving that platform for action to take place.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. I think Anushka is right because, I mean, now that the talk has been normalized, we need to start doing something about it and, making a difference. And I think the both of you have made a huge difference to our school community. So, talking about making tangible change, what change do you envision that Unraveling Thoughts will bring about to society and to our school community? And what when you started the campaign, what did you think would be some tangible goals that you'd be able to reach?
I think that the primary purpose, of course, was to offer a platform, an anonymous platform, so that students are not scared. Because sometimes it's very easy, like if someone doesn't want to reach out to a friend or a family member, they may not have the courage to reach out to a school counselor either, because they would have to meet them and reveal their identity. And without platform, there's no need for any of that. It's totally anonymous, 100% confidential and private. And all our volunteers and our counselors are here to make sure that the students who reach out, they're able to kind of uh, reach strategies and resolutions to kind of help uh, walk through their problems. And so that's our aim. And I think as for what do we envision it to be, I think that in the coming months, we really want students to, be okay with coming to our platform. Because I think initially, perhaps it is a school run initiative, it takes time for a little bit of trust to sink in. But I think that we've crossed that bar right now. And in the future, we're looking at kind of expanding this Unraveling Thoughts community to other students as well across other schools, so that this platform can really kind of make more of an impact and on a larger scale. Because I don't think that other schools or many other schools right now in UAE have this kind of opportunity or the resources to establish a platform like this.
That's really inspiring, because I mean, now that you know that you've helped your school community, you're looking towards helping others around you. And I think Unraveling Thoughts has, crossed that stage, because personally, even I've used the platform once or twice, and it's been so helpful and so like calming talking to someone, even though and especially the fact that the person doesn't know who you are, because you know that the person isn't judging you as an individual. They're just looking into your issue and trying to give you advice and things that you can do. Like, I remember once I was told to do heavy and deep breathing, and that really did help. So I think you guys are doing a fabulous job, and the school community is jolly jolly benefiting.
Thank
I'd
you.
have to agree. Yes, absolutely. So, as the founders of Unraveling Thoughts, what are some of the things that you yourself would like to recommend to our viewers and to anyone who's watching to improve and take care of one's mental well being?
I feel like in a world that, we're surrounded by change, and like especially right now because we have COVID, and things aren't the same as they were before. And so I'd recommend them to practice self-expression in any form or manner, whether it's like talking about your issues, or painting, solving puzzles, doing math. I don't know, whatever helps you, you do you. Just express yourself. If you don't want to talk about it, I don't know, play a guitar, dance, explore yourself, find yourself.
Yeah, I think that one thing I'd just like to highlight is that she said, talking also helps. And I think that self-talk is also a very, very important aspect of mental health, because sometimes, I mean, you may not know what you're feeling. So just talk to yourself about it. And so I think we attended the session with Miss Rupa that was earlier this week. And she also touched upon this on journaling and kind of, performing self-talk through that. And I think that that's a really great way to kind of practice self-expression as well. And I've started doing it. And I mean, it's very early to kind of share with you what my experience has been like, but I really am positive about the kind of effects it's going to have on me.
Yes, I think there was this wellness week that had taken place in our school from the Wellness Council, which you're a part of. And I think you'd shared even back then that journaling is something that you would recommend and is something that you indulge in and it's helped you. So, would you like to share anything about that?
Okay, sure. So journaling is something I do as a means of recreation, I'd say. So, after like my day is over, I just like to pin down my thoughts, whatever happened, because memories are important. And it's helped me quite a bit, just like, narrowing down my feelings, and like, sort of just writing it down so it doesn't accumulate. And yeah, it just helps you, pinpoint something that's happening, because sometimes, you have like work, you have school, you have extracurriculars, you're surrounded by your friends, and there's just like a lot of things happening. And it's important that you just take a minute to pause and ask yourself how you're doing, and was it a good day? Did something happen that made me feel uncomfortable? Like,
Absolutely. I think we have so much to do, especially in the stage that the four of us are in right now. We're trying to balance schoolwork. We're looking towards universities. Some of us have already sent out our first set of applications, looking, writing our essays and things like that. You do need a minute or two in the day to just, reflect, relax, and, just think about how the day was. And I personally do that as well. Aarti ma'am encouraged me to start journaling, and create a grumble journal for whenever I'm upset. And I think it's personally helped me also quite a bit.
Yeah, I love the notion of just having or taking out the time in your day to reflect on what's happened and what's happening. If something's going wrong, then I think it really, as Diya said, it really helps you figure out where's that gap arising or what's going wrong in your day. Because sometimes we have these like inexplicable bad moods, I would say, where you don't really know why you're upset, but you are. And I think it helps to sort of like just reflect and look back on the day that's happened and on like the week that's gone by. And I think just pinpointing that this is where the issues are rising. And obviously, if you aren't someone who wants to indulge in journaling, I think it's great that we also have a platform in school where you can talk to someone who can help you work your way through your emotions and find that. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us and sharing so many helpful tips and your stories. It meant a lot to us for that you came here.
Thank you, guys. And we really are looking, and we know that Unraveling Thoughts is going to grow into a much bigger platform, and I think you guys are doing an amazing job. And we at Girl Up, like when we started our Modern Girls podcast, we knew that, you know, Unraveling Thought, the team behind Unraveling Thoughts was a team that we have to invite for one of our episodes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.